So machen Sie den Arbeitstag wirklich besser für Ihr Team. Laptops mit Intel V Pro.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, viewers all around the world. It's evening for me anyway, so you're gonna have to live with that address. I'm sorry, but I just make the rules. Welcome on in to the second match of our final in the Brawl 1066 tournament. Oh boy, is my voice already given out? I hope not. This is gonna be a banger match, everybody. I prefaced game one with a disclaimer that the teams were a bit unbalanced since Team Obi weren't able to field their elite players, but this cannot be said about this game here in the slightest. We've got two very stacked lineups here. You'll see it in just a second as we're preparing to load into the game here for the final time. It's gonna kick off in just a moment here, so bear with us as the game is about to start. This is gonna be a banger of a game. Hopefully, Team Obi really need this win here on their side choice. Of course, they were able to select the side in which they wanted to draft since they lost the first game. So they really need that bounce back victory here. It's a best of 5, so 3 wins required to get the title of this tournament. And of course, going down 2-0 to start the series is exactly what you want to avoid doing. So Team Obi this time with their 3 best players against a slightly undermanned Team Antiquity, but the exact same lineup that performed very well earlier. This is gonna be a promising match. We're loading in right now. There we go. Switching screens here in just a second. I hope everybody's enjoying the pre-game music as well. But there we go. No more music, no more anything. We're into the game. I'm reminding them to fix their mutes once more, of course. And then there we will roll. Oops, I forgot to adjust my tech. Almost trolling again as the spectator. You guys know me. But there we go. That's the map for this match. It's a rather particular one, again, although not unheard of in this tournament before. We've seen comparable maps, definitely. It's definitely one of the rarer ones, though. As you can see, everybody elected to plant at the first turn. As soon as Kismic on the Sumerians here decides to end his turn, we're underway, and that's exactly what he's just done. So no more stalling, no more waiting. We're into the game here. Teams are 2, 3, 4 versus 5, 6, 7. So that's Archery, Reptag, and Obi versus Anti, Elk, and Kismic. You can see that at the top of your screen as well, of course. So I hope it's all clear to you guys. All right. So without further ado, I've just interacted a little bit with the chat to finish off here. Of course, during the game, I won't be able to talk to you guys so much, so I hope you'll keep each other good company as the first couple of turns tick by. You can see the map is a very far and spaced out one, so right off the bat, that is typically not very advantageous for the Aztecs and the Sumerians that we've got over here, facing each other, both of them. Both of those are probably going to try to bother their enemies. In terms of front lines, in terms of team assignment, you can see we've got Rome in the corner here with Egypt and the Aztecs. They are one team. And then, of course, the remaining 3 players, Sumeria, Celts, and Persia down there. So that's the 2 teams in a type of triangle setup again. Although very far apart. The looks of it are a bit deceptive though, since the way Civ 3 graphics work. The distance here between these civs each is not that enormous. It's like 10 tiles max from neighbor to neighbor. So it's not that ridiculously big. It's just difficult for civs to interact with each other that are not directly bordering each other. So for example, it's going to take a while for the Aztecs to get contact with Egypt, or for Egypt with Rome, and then it's going to be difficult if you're, for example, well, the Celts and the Egyptians, they are pretty much close to all 3 enemies in some way, shape, or form. You can see that's a inland ocean as well, so no fresh water, but you can build boats adjacent to this body of water. And yeah, what I was gonna say, the other spots here on the sides, Rome can't really interact with their enemy here on the other side, Sumeria. It can definitely fight with Persia and with the Celts to some extent, but yeah, so that's the thing here for the Aztecs. If the Aztecs were hoping to bother the Persians early on, for example, they couldn't really do that on this map. Anything else? I think it allows for a lot of different strategy here. Uh, Looks like, yeah, good analysis by Team OB, figuring out that it was actually unfortunate for Team Anti. Their one agricultural civ wasn't able to spawn on the freshwater. That's quite a setback, considering that the Celts are the worst performing agricultural civ in this tournament. Actually, the worst performing civ period in this tournament, funnily enough. Not even having the freshwater there has gotta feel awful for them. However, there are decent city spots with freshwater for his following city, so it's not like he's going to play without the agricultural trade for the entire game. But the most important one is, of course, the initial city there, and that's the one he doesn't get on the freshwater. Hopefully for him, he won't get bothered too much early on. Obi making a very accurate guess here. Yeah, good call out. They are facing each other. That's a great story as well, right? The two captains directly opposite from each other. Luckily, funnily though, if you're not making boats, you're actually quicker walking to the two other enemies to your west and your east than you are walking around this lake. So they're actually the two furthest apart enemy civs on this map. That's just a little bit funny of an optical illusion here. Again, Civ 3 graphics are quite interesting. So this match has been anticipated for a while. These two teams in the group stage, Antiquity's team has gotten the better of Obi, winning 3 of the 4 games and taking first place in the group as well. They're going to try to leverage the advantage that they got from that better placement to, of course, parlay it into a finals victory. They'll do their best to get that. I don't think any two enemies or allies have met each other yet, although it's gonna get real close real soon down here with the Persians and the Roman inching towards each other, and the Celts and the Romans also possibly meeting each other quite soon. And within these next 2 or 3 turns, I think both teams should have the map mapped out pretty much to its entirety. As soon as those first contacts end up coming through, they don't. Yeah, there we go. Persia and Rome now seeing each other, very interesting. Same thing for the Celts, also now making contact with Rome. So that's going to be Archriver potentially under a bit of pressure here early on. I think he's going to need some relief there with Rabdag helping on the Celts. Otherwise, maybe Celts and Persia could give him the business early on there. Although it's got to be mentioned, overall, I think this map is a pretty favorable role here for Team Obi. We've already mentioned how Anti on that single agricultural civ in this game didn't get the spawn on the fresh water, but also you gotta take into account there that the resources here are quite interesting. Sumer and Aztecs don't care that much about resources. As Sumeria is making its way over there to the Aztecs, it's going to be difficult for Rabdak to handle too. Yeah, but the real interesting resources here are iron for the Celts, which I do believe Anti should be able to secure without much of a hassle, although if the opponents are quick enough, that could pose some trouble there. Same thing with the horses for Egypt, probably not going to be that tough to get to, but yeah, it's going to take at least a little bit. But then over here, the big thing is the iron for both Persia and Rome. This matchup could very well devolve into a race for who gets iron quicker. And honestly, it looks like Rome's gonna win that on any day of the week here. Look at the distribution here. That's so easy to hook for them, whereas the Persians really just got a unlucky spawn here. The iron not all that close, really. And quite difficult to fight for as well, right? It's very possible that Obi might just end up blocking it for him. I assume that Elk already has ironworking research though, and that's probably why he's sitting on that mountain right now. Yeah. In his with his great command of the English language, he lets his team know that the iron is in a very unfavorable spot. And look at this over here. Wow, that's also quite unfortunate. It looks like, just like in the last game, the Celts, if you remember, it looks like Rabdag on the Aztecs here went for a very untimely early settler and he's gonna pay the price. He's gonna have to deal with those Sumerians that are already sitting on him, and he's not gonna be able to pull that second city off safely as he moves in with a jack into Entremont. He goes for the hit onto the capital. It was only one warrior in there, so that could have almost been the kill for Rabek. If he wins that combat, he's actually taken out the enemy captain just like that, but it wasn't meant to be. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, and Anti also with a little bit of a panic here, trying to adjust the production in cap to make a warrior instead of the settler. He had already already completed. So that is quite unfortunate here for both parties. Rabek losing the 1v1 and Anti really screwing his production and growth over big time here. We see the first burning capital of the game as well, as Kismic wasn't entirely paying attention there. He gets the pillage off on the floodplain, so that's a big bin here. You gotta remember that this land that Rabek's gotten is really bad land in general. So you need all the Wacko moves and especially all the irrigations that you can get. And getting one of those, especially the floodplain one, pillaged early on is going to be big. I wonder if he's going to be able to sustain here for a while. He really needs to get a warrior wall up and running to protect the backline city that he's about to plant too. So he's struggling over there against the Sumerians, and that's big impact for Kismic already. Oh boy. That is quite unfortunate. Rome declaring war on the Celts. It looks like a bunch of scrapping is already going on. Archibald relieving himself of some of that pressure here. But look at this. Kismic was able to get across the river and is now blocking that irrigation as well. Rabek struggling mightily here. That early settler is a little bit of a gamble always, and it didn't pay off this time around for the Aztecs. I hope he got con with Obi before he actually lost his settler or his Jaguar on the Celts as well. But with all the advantage that I perceived here for Team Obi in this map, the early game is really going badly for them. You can see right there, Rabek's under so much pressure from the enemy's warriors here. They could just hit into Tenochtitlan, I believe. I'm not sure how much he's actually gotten in there. So the turn ends. I wonder if they're just going to take the attack here. If all of them just hit into this, Kismic and Anti together could have a decent shot at actually taking out Rabek here. He can't even afford to plant that city back there. Look at this. It's such an unfavorable spot for him. Man, he's going to be so unhappy about that gamble he took with the early settler. Much to the opposite of Obi, who's also gone for an early second city, you can see right there, but he's just fine down there. No pressure on him early on, so he's gonna have to get that chariot stack up quickly if he can. He's got to find those horses first, though, since I don't believe he's got any vision of that just yet. So I wonder how quickly he's gonna be able to produce these chariots. We see Rome still making moves over there, but oh boy, Rabek, he's really playing with fire there. It feels like he's holding onto that one tile here, but dude, if you lose that combat here, isn't this already? Aren't you already dead for sure? I really wonder if that was not too greedy a plant here at Teotihuacan, but he's already so far behind. Maybe he feels like he needs to gamble a little bit there. Bro, it's a tough look here. I hope Kismic's playing this right. If he plays this right, he can, I think, force Rabek to give up either the city or the worker at the start of next turn. I wonder how they're going to play this. Are they just straight up hitting into Tenochtitlan? I think they are, but great rolls for Rabek here. They're throwing their entire pressure away that they had on him. Oh, Lord, and they're losing every single roll. Oh my lord, I really disagree with the choice they made there. I think from Anti's perspective, that was a good role to take, as I suggested it earlier as well, right? With 3 warriors trying to hit into this, as Rabek is in ecstatic joy. The script was just flipped completely on this game. He was completely taken out of it, but he's now been allowed to recover for free. I think Kismic should have really informed Anti that Rabek planted this backline city, and he should have moved towards that and tried to take the role for the road, rather. They should have tried to take the road instead of hitting into this city. But I don't think Anti had that information. Otherwise, yeah, I disagree just hitting into the capital there. Of course, it still could have been a kill, but the rolls went in Rabek's favor, and he's breathing a huge sigh of relief at this point. Luckily for Team Obi, just like Anti surviving the attack onto Entremont earlier, Raplex also just fine. We see on the east where we weren't able to pay that close attention so far, we see that it's sort of stabilized here. Stabilized, sorry. It looks like Archie has been able to clear out the most of the units there at his front door. He's also managed to send out an archer himself and is trying to put some pressure on the Persians who are trying to get towards that Iron Mountain. I really do wonder. Wow, Anti-Mies moved the settler too, did he? Did he rubber band it back into capital? I'm not sure. I don't see the settler, but oh boy, it's really going badly for his team. Are they throwing away their advantage here in the finals too easily? Well, it is a map that should go to Team Obi in terms of them having the better lineup on paper and also having had side selection here. So it wouldn't be too costly a loss for Team Anti. It was a prime opportunity here to take full control of this series. Had they gotten more out of that early choke on Rabdak. He survived that though, so that's all done and dusted, and we have to move past that now. The Sumerians, well, they have kind of blown their early road here. There's load, rather. They're still a potent choking sieve, so if they can get some Enkidu's out, maybe still on the Egyptian horses, which are yet unhooked and unprotected, that could be big as well for them. So they still got some place left, for sure. I wonder though if they're gonna get involved. It doesn't look like they're looking to spam a bunch of units at this point. They haven't sent anything out for a while as I try to get my last spy out onto Obi again. Finally, alright, that one works out. And now Rabdax, he's in his GA, I think, at this point. Looks like it, at least, since he's got a bunch of units here. And he's getting back onto the map and trying to get involved. He's going just very hard here for the Celts. He's completely disregarding the Sumerians down south, probably rightfully so too. And while Anti's trying to clear out the rest of the stuff here that's bothering in his land, he's gonna get that second city off, and he's planting on the coast, which is an advantage over Obi, who hasn't done that. I like his second city much more than Obi's, since Obi's primary goal should have been hooking those horses. But then again, the Celts should have focused on that iron maybe, so I guess that city spot over here would have maybe been better. Interesting. It looks like Obi's been able to give GA to Sumeria now too. It isn't a very poor Golden Age timing there for Kismet. He's not going to be mad about it, I don't think. But still important not to give important to try and minimize the effect of the enemy Golden Ages when you can. And Sumeria is of course the prime example of a civ that rarely gets the best timed Golden Age. Elk with an interesting second city placement. It is rather safe. It's coastal too. It's a very shitty city there. Really, you're not going to get much out of it, but he just wants to make a point to get closer to that iron, looks like. And he's prioritizing getting to that, so I don't disagree with that second city choice. It's just not going to net you a lot of production or growth. As Obi merges further inland here, blocking the Celts forest, trying to mess with his tile assignments maybe. Here we go, as Alesia has planted as well. Persia, second city down too. You can see everybody getting to their second cities now. So even the Aztecs, who oftentimes like to sit on one city for a longer time here, they were actually the ones who had first had their settler out, although it got them into hot water a little bit. Celts in Egypt are scrapping a bit. Good roll for Anti, finally able to remove that last enemy unit from his land. However, gotta wonder how long that's gonna last. He's at least protecting his iron, which is very important. Same thing for Obi, getting to those horses. That's a good idea. Sadly, that warrior has been killed. I think that would have been the con unit for Obi and Rabdak. I think they relied on getting contact to each other from that unit, so quite unfortunate there. Obi, even with the next settler out now, the barbs are blocking his tiles a little bit. Did he lose his warrior there? Oh, it looks like it. Oh boy, that's just such an unfortunate roll. That seems to happen a lot in this tourney for some reason. Quite surprising there actually. As we see the first plans come in here for the early combat. It looks like Obi is going to be the first target of Anti's team. the multilingual genius here, communicating with Elk and Kismic. But remember, he had a really nicely coordinated kill together with Elk against Redbob's Celts in the game prior to this, in game 1 of the finals. And Kismic trying to make a double move with his Enkidu potentially. No, he's just woken it up. He's gonna keep on sitting on the floodplains, which is a good choice. It's by far the most valuable tile in the Aztecs' land. Here's no important rest to block or anything, so he's gonna be fine just sitting there for a while, whereas the Persians are farming that free food for a while now, so at least that's a positive there for Elk in his otherwise pretty shabby land. Not to flame. He of course isn't at fault for the type of land he got there, and he now even considering the boating here onto Egypt, which it is a bit telegraphed, right? Obi knows that you're coastal, and yeah, he's got decent vision there. But maybe if you could get a few Galax onto this tile here, you could make a very surprising double move onto Egypt there. Nice end of turn move from El Quixote as well. He's moving in, trying to get onto this road, presumably. It seems as though, yeah, Obi doesn't have a lot of units here at his home available to defend those cities. He's finally hooking those horses still, so that's going to be big. I hope he's got those barracks ready in Thebes already, because he's going to need that golden age soon. And he's going to have to stack some chariots, because he might not know it yet, but he's going to get targeted here quite soon. And actually, Kismic now moving off of the floodplains. I'm not sure I like that choice. He's going for Tlatelolco. Trying to maybe get around that warrior wall, but I don't think Repek's going to do him that favor. And he already working towards the golden age. I guess he's going to colony that iron and get a very early upgrade. Jaguar warrior still strolling around his back. He's going to get contact with Rome that way, is what I'd imagine. Elk not ending up getting that road here is sad for him. Egypt, Persia, and war. Good job by Obi clearing that out. Yeah, he already got that war chariot off the horses last turn. And that's GA. Good call out by Elk 2. Realizing that that wasn't an archer, but in fact a war chariot. And a 3-city GA is exactly what Obi wants here. With a lot of plains in his land too, his land is quite good for GA actually. I disagree with that choice. I wouldn't mind that tile. I think irrigating the horses and irrigating the other plains would be much more beneficial there. It's the same effect after all. And he's gotten that GA now very quickly. That is ideal timing for him, I would say. Sumerians now sending out their second wave of units, again going heavily towards Aztecs. I'm not sure I love that choice, but maybe just denying them res would also already suffice in minimizing their impact, because I'm not that scared of a Jaguar warrior stack at this point anymore. Roman Persia continuing to scrap there. Looks like great rolls for Elk though. I think he won 2 combats there. That must have been even archery was regular archer that's gotten taken out by that floodplain warrior. Good rolls for Elk here early on, and he's well known for that, so not a huge surprise to anyone probably. But archery are gonna be yeah, not too happy about those rolls he's gotten there. Alright, so let's reassess the state of the game. Sumeria is still quite powerful. They've just been cranking out veteran Enkidu with their GA, and they're gonna try and give Redleg a tough time with that again. Hopefully he's gonna be able to hold that warrior line. The Celts are also looking to take their golden age soon, as they said. I still assume they're gonna colony this, but maybe they're actually gonna road it. Yeah, that's what it's going on. He's already eroding that tile and planting that city on the freshwater there to get it. Nice move in from Rebek end of turn. Maybe he can sneak an attack here. Looks like it looks to me like he hit Alasia and maybe even got a kill of a unit, but there was another warrior underneath maybe? Maybe that's what's going on. Rebek's also fighting at home a bit, so wow. Was that just... What went on there? I'm pretty sure that was just an archer from antiquity hitting into this Jaguar warrior and it promoting without taking damage. Yeah, Anti's saying the same thing. That is crazy. We've seen some incredible rolls in this game already. Elk with his usual RNG. He's now freed up the iron. He's got a lot of warriors available too, and he's holding priority. That could give Obi some trouble. If they really want to get onto him, they could make something work soon here. He's loading up just warriors into that galley, so I guess Anti's utmost priority right now is giving Obi a headache and hindering his GA production. Looks like Rabdex still stable at home, but He's gonna get even more Enkidus to deal with. I really love the pace of this game. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's a type of map that is set up with a bunch of 1v1s, but it's also that these 1v1s can interact with each other, and we have seen that already quite a bit here. Actually, I'm still the two of the most important cities here, Celts and Egypt, are in the center of the map, and they can affect both of their neighbors. But of course, they're also so susceptible to getting flanked from the Persians and the Romans, most importantly. Once those swordsman upgrades start coming in, if I'm one of the middle civs here, I'm actually getting worried. So I want to make it a point to kill my opponent off first before I get struck myself. Other option, of course, would be to focus on the flank player here. Maybe Egypt and Rome going for Persia, Celts and Persia going for Rome. But it's just so difficult to kill Rome overall. So I think they're going to stick with their initial plan and try and make something work against Egypt. He could land right there without being seen, but I think he's actually going to play it a little bit more patiently and move on next turn to try and get a landing off in Egypt's heartland. As Reptech, with all his badly wounded units, he's trying to keep that warrior wall up. Not succeeding though. Nice reinforcement. Wow, he lost that combat but was able to reinforce the tile before the Enkidu could cross the river. That was a big move for him there, quickly enough. A nice job. Obi, I thought he might spot this galley actually this turn with the war chariot that he was healing up on this tile, but he actually uses it in order to clear out barbs at home. And therefore, he's going to miss that crucial info here. That could be dangerous for him if he's not got enough units in his cities. He's moving another warrior out of Thebes. Oh boy, this won't end in a disaster, will it? That boat from antiquity, I called it Telegraph, but it looks like it might just find some prey there if Obi isn't quick enough with the reinforcements. I don't think he's expecting that, especially not in his capital. So I'm very worried about this one here. I'm very worried here if I'm Obi. Looks like Anti's going for the landing end of turn. If he's doing it quickly enough, I wonder if Obi's going to be in time. Oh, the landing comes off at Heliopolis. Big luck there for Obi. He's just straight up hitting into it, but the reinforcement is in time. Well played there from Obi. Anti, of course, couldn't know that Thebes was so empty there for a second. And he sails off again. Nice attempt there. Didn't end up doing much. Didn't end up doing much, but was very dangerous there for a second. Again, situations keep arising that are dangerous for Team Obi, but he had good coordination with Barbs. That's actually completely accurate too. Situations keep arising that look dangerous for Team Obi, but RNG and enemy decision making, which isn't even necessarily bad, keeps bailing them out. I wonder what Archreeve is doing over here. Is he gonna try and straight up take the GA? He's doing it, and he's gotten it too, so that's a great GA timing himself. He's gotten a few legions, he's on 3 cities. Nice job from him. And Elk, he's gonna need to grab his own GA here quite soon, but I wonder if he's gonna have a unit to do it off. If left unchecked, the East is gonna develop horribly for Team Anti, I believe. Another Jaguar attempt on the Celts, but he's getting away unscathed here. Wow, that is big for him, and he even wins the combat against the next warrior. He can't step onto the tile. Oh, bro, this is so difficult to... that's... I think there's nothing... Wow, that's so... I'm struggling with this one, because it looks like he gotten the disband off, but I guess Anti got to keep his worker, so that is fine. It looked a bit on the edge here, but it doesn't look like there really was anything buggy. It just took a ton of time for him to claim the hill. Really nice move there by Reptech. He's gotten a couple of warriors cleared out from the Celts too, but overall the play doesn't net anything in the end. No pillage, most importantly. So yeah, gotta see. And now the strategy here in Israel has shifted considerably, as the Sumerians are sending stuff in droves here towards the Egyptians. I like that shift in strategy. It doesn't look like he was accomplishing a whole lot up there in the north, other than forcing Reptech to keep playing honest. And the Celts are gonna restock their galley here, presumably, and start getting stuff on over to Egypt, although they haven't upgraded anything yet, which is quite curious. Only warriors then is land, no Galax just yet, but that's gonna change within this turn, I hope. Whereas here in the East, yeah, I got a restate. We've got Rome in GA with 3 cities versus Persia, no GA, with 2 cities that are not even good. So if this is left in a pure 1v1, Elk is just gonna get crushed here, and it's not gonna take a whole lot of time either. The Orange Galaxy, again, I really like the look of those. Although it's been brought to my attention that it would be potentially a good choice to actually make it so the Celts can get their correct color next time. Maybe I'll do that. Irrelevant for this one though. Interesting, it's Rome actually elects to go over there onto the Celts. I wonder if that is a good strategy. I feel like the kill on the Persians is relatively free here for Rome. They can't get GA and they have bad production at home. So actually I would have preferred Archie actually sending those regions down there, but maybe he feels like Obi needs some help with the Celts. Sumeria right now is of course the main threat to him. How can he defend those? His answer are spearmen for now. He's building that spearman wall up actually, quite akin to the Aztecs, doing the same with the warriors in the north. Let's see how effective that's going to be for him. It sounds quite good on paper, but he's got a rather broad border that he's got to defend, so I wonder if he's going to be able to have enough there in order to do that. And if he builds that wall, then maybe another... Oh, interesting. Anti goes back with the boat that he just sent out. Maybe he wants to change the crew there that he's got running. Sumeria are quite weak at home too. I think Rabdak should help out Obi a bit and put some pressure back on so they can't just send every single unit they have onto Egypt. Obi reading the play correctly now, but still the Persians aren't going to be much of a threat here for quite a while. Warriors aren't cheap units, so I guess if he's getting a ton of gold, he can still get a meaningful immortal stack up and running, but he's not going to have a lot of those available to get to Egypt, and he's going to get there later than Archiever is going to get to the Celts. So if it's a straight up speed contest, he's going to lose out on that front. Alright, so far it's the calm before the storm. That was a long end of the turn, but it looks like just fine here. Teotihuacan disordering is unfortunate, but no major development. And the Celts, are they gonna put Galax back onto this boat? I think that's the logical choice. Sadly for him, Barbs ended up spawning here. That would have been such a good tile to stack some units on, even with just one boat. You could go back and forth and within a few turns actually stack up 6 or 8 Galax there. That could have been scary for Egypt too if left unchecked, but the Barbs are preventing that plan. So while helping out Anti earlier, they are now screwing him a bit. We see Redback also moving out at home now. They're realizing that this game is potentially going to get decided in the next 5 to 10 turns. It is going to be decided for sure if one of the parties here falls asleep at the wheel. And it looks like Elk is actually the weakest one right now. He's gotten that pretty poor land and he's invested a lot into getting that iron now. A lot of units going towards the center of the map from everybody here really except Elk. Is that what's gonna make the difference here in the end? Obi's been in his golden age for quite a while, so I think he's gonna be just fine holding on against the Sumerians alone. But the question is, how can Anti deal with the 2 flank players now coming in to pressure him? That's what I'm wondering too. Gonna see how this goes. It looks like really the calm before the storm here. Celts moving up there as well. They're gonna spot those Jaguars, fortunately for them, so they're not gonna get struck out of nowhere. I really wonder what his response is gonna be. He now sees that first Jaguar coming through, maybe not suspecting much, but he's gonna have to deal with a whole lot more. Interesting. He's trying to get GA here off that Jaguar. Good call. I think Rabak should reinforce with another Jaguar. You don't want to give... Oh no, he knows that this Gallic is out of moves. Never mind that. You don't want to give GA over for free. He's trying to get GA here, and he is. And that's the difference right now in the middle. Both of these center players, both of the captains are getting pressured from the flanks. The difference is Obi has been in Golden Age here for a while. Whereas Anti is still looking for his, so I think the Egyptians are going to be much better equipped to deal with the pressure that they are facing here. Although it looks like Kismic is making meaningful progress on him, and he's really being given the business. I I wonder why he feels comfortable enough to actually move out of the cities with the spearmen. I think holding onto the road would be the most important part. So maybe putting a spearman onto that, I would have understood. That could have been a mismove too, though, as the turn ends. And we see the Jaguars marching on. Anti now sees the entire stack. He's getting hit from the mountain. He got his GA off of it, though. I agree with the decision there by Raptech to try and kill the Gallic before the Gallic kills him. But the GA was taken by Anti now. He's going to be quite happy with that one. Oh boy, that's a bunch of Jaguars waiting to pounce on to Anti there. He's moving out his own little Gallic stack. And this is really a race against time, it seems. I wonder if Anti's going to go back with those Gallics, seeing as these Jaguars are approaching him now. It's a real exciting one, this one. I didn't imagine the combat to get this intense this soon, but really, we've got a hot and heated battle raging here. Persia, I like that Archivas gotten full priority here as well. He knows that there's nothing coming at him. Maybe actually a Kuraho too would have been good for him to know that he's completely safe. If he had those sentries, he could really move out with everything he has and try to kill off the Celts. He's got pretty decent odds. He's been in this 3-city GA for ages now. And he's moving in further towards the Celts who've just gotten theirs. I think it's looking quite tough for Anti, and he's moving forwards with his stack. So the question is, can they get Obi before his teammates get Anti? That's really what this one's coming down to. Obi's got to defend here for a while. He's making spearman after spearman. And the Sumerians alone, I think he could be able to deal with. There's not a ton of archers in their stack. But as soon as the Celts come in, I feel like Obi might fold under that pressure. However, his teammates are already getting involved. And I said this before, this might just come down to a speeding contest, a race to the middle. And Obi's team has won out in some sense. The Sumerians, of course, were the first ones to arrive, but them alone aren't going to have the biggest impact here. Whereas Team Obi, they are on the doorstep of the Celts with quite big stacks. Good choice by Anti to make some more archers here on defense. But he's going to get hit with a lot there pretty soon. I really wonder if he's going to end up retreating with that stack and trying to defend, or if he's going to look for his salvation in the offense. That potentially could be the right play too. It's quite possible that whoever gets the first kill here ends up being the victor. So every single decision could count as to who kills the enemy captain first. It looks like on the flank the combat has really died down. It's all about the middle here as Raptech and Archiver both move in. A kind of a botched double move there from Raptech, really. It looks like maybe he only had one move left on that stack, so I can't say that he really messed something up there. Looks like Sumeria tried to take another road there from Egypt, but it's not looking that great. Great rolls for Anti down there. And oh boy, the Gallics have arrived at his doorstep, but at the exact same time, the Jags and the Legions are in his land. And I think, I really do believe that Anti... oh, it's so hard to tell, though. I feel like Anti could live. If those Legions just hit one of his cities, Anti's probably surviving. What's going on in Thebes, though? The city is quite low. Oh boy, this is so difficult. Raptech and Archie are now smelling blood in the water. 6 Gallics on Obi, so he can't have a lot at home. It's, oh, nice job by Persia though. I really underestimated Elk, but he's also there. We see everybody just actually arriving at the exact same time on their opposition. Obi's really, I wonder why he's holding on to this tile so much. I think the Spearman and Watcher could really be the difference makers in the end. He's got to get those back into his cities. I think Anti's going to end up hitting something here soon. He's going for that road, presumably, because he knows at home he might die soon. No con. He wants to make it count now. He doesn't end up getting the road. That is huge for Obi down there. That might have just bought him his life. But a lot of Sumerians now hitting Thebes too. Oh, Lord. This is going to be such a close one too. He's getting hit there. I don't think the entirety of the stack has movement points left. Finally, Anti is able to get the road. But these Gallics might get removed here soon. Alesia is low, and it's been taken out too. So this one has started off with a bang. The question is, can they answer with a kill onto Obi? Or Are the troops not enough without the Galax reinforcing from the north? We're gonna see about that. I guess we're gonna have to reload this. It's a tough one, but we'll see how this goes. Nicely done there by Archery, the cutting off the city and getting that kill after Anti had moved out. That's of course a difficult situation for him to hold on, and he correctly identified before that he wasn't gonna survive that one. Alright, very interesting. I'll go for the reload here. We're gonna set that one up and then be right back after, of course. This is a tough one for Team Anti. It was really a race to the middle, and Obi brought more friends with him. The Persians mainly weren't really able to provide a whole lot to that whole endeavor. So they strike first here. Archery was the one who ends up getting the kill on the Romans. The Romans possibly the best performing civ in the tournament so far. You can see the win rates on the screen here the entire time during the game. And Aztecs and Rome are just such winning picks in this tourney so far. Combined, I think they got 13 wins and 1 loss only. Aztecs still undefeated in the event. So the Civs are looking good yet again in this one, as they were able to, with a combined effort, bring Anti to his knees. Oh boy. This is gonna be rough to replay, he says. Well, I'm not actually that sure it is, right? Yeah. Alright, we'll discuss how to reload this. This is gonna take a few minutes probably. But yeah. Alright, give us that time to discuss how the reloads is supposed to be played. Yeah, I'll mute here real quick and I'll let you guys know what we settled on. We're definitely reloading this one, so you gotta hang on for a few minutes there. All right, so I guess we've agreed on, yeah, we've agreed on how to proceed with this, with the disbands and everything. So we're loading back in here in just a second, I think. And oh yeah, again, we're about to load back in here. We're gonna replay that turn to the best of our ability, of course, and then we'll see if Obi is able to hold in the south. Oh shit. Oh, actually, that's actually good. The timer on stream has expired, so I can now look. All right, so we'll see if there's any particular things in question that we have to look up on stream. Got the replay right here. All right, I'm just making sure now on stream what happened in the south, who lost what. Oh, it looks like actually a bit different than we thought. Okay, looks like we finally figured it all out. It's always a bit tough with those kill reloads, right? Because like every unit could potentially matter. But now with the stream bot backing up our discussions, it's easier to figure out what exactly we got to do. All right, so we've reached an agreement. I guess now we're just missing one check mark here. All right, there we go. Launching back in. I'll show you guys, of course. Hold on a sec. There we are. Okay, so we get the kill on the Celts first here. Nice, that one worked. Wow, okay, that went a bit too quickly actually. I'll save that. Are we still reinforcing down or still disbanding down south? That was a bit quick, yeah, but Alright, it looks like they're reloading everything down south. So the kill north came through for Rome. They got that one fair and square. And now in the south, Sumeria and Egypt are fighting. With, of course, Elk chiming in as well with his little stack on the iron. So we'll see if Obi is going to be able to hold this on. The Spearmen are going to come in clutch here. It's going to be big. I hope they can actually... yeah, I hope they can actually make something happen here. Alk and Kismic, they're trying to get onto Obi here, and he can't have a lot left in all those cities. He's lost a few units holding that road too, so I wonder what they're going to do. Actually, I think most likely Kismic's going to hit this road end of turn and try to take that. I hope everybody's remembering the mutes. And not forgetting that. I don't want to clog the chat now though, so I'm not going to remind them at this point. Kura out from Elk, I like that play. I think more Kuras would have been a good choice here for everybody just to be safe from naval plays. We see now what are they going to do end of turn. It looks like Kismek's actually just moving further inland. He's trying to block that road north, I assume. He's moving onto it, but it's actually Obi that outspeeds there, and that's a big win for him. He's now getting hit in Thebes, though. All the units are attacking that capital, and he's going to have to reinforce a bit. Now the road is blocked, so it's looking bad for him. He might end up falling here. Another spearman dies. That's huge. Heliopolis empty for a second as well. He's just barely holding on here. It's right now, and he's still somehow alive. That was legal, though. Yeah, looks legal to me. Like, yeah. All right, Kismik is quite surprised at this. Yeah, it looked normal to me. Of course, I didn't. He says it was more. All right, let me think. Yeah, I didn't play the closest attention to it, but I think reasonable is just to play on because this happens a lot in MPT situations like this where the city is empty for just a bit, but the Sumerians can't walk in before the Egyptians get that reinforce off. And I think that all but seals it here. Obi's able to survive that main stack hitting him. Elk is still moving in with a bit. Maybe he's going to be able to break up the roads here. Disorder in cap is extremely bad for Obi right now. They're hitting again at Heliopolis, and the defenses are holding strong still. However, they are dropping low. It looks like Obi is now able to reinforce with the two movers even across the road. And again, that's a big relief for him. It's so close here every single turn. And Kismik, he now realizes he's probably not going to be able to kill anymore. I think they should try again with Elk stack over here. He's got the Immortal with a few warriors. Maybe if he's able to take the road, isn't that worth trying? I think he's just hitting into Thebes at this point, though. Looks like no. Oh yeah, there we go. He is apparently hitting with the Immortal first. Dies to defensive bombard. And that should all but seal it. Or should it? Thebes is actually lower than we thought. Another warrior moves in here. Looks like last second as well. Oh boy, Obi real quick here with the moves. Uncharacteristically quick, you might say. And that should seal it though, right? It looks like, yeah, Alex also blown his load here. GG to Team Anti as well. But it's actually Obi who ends up equalizing the series here with a so much needed victory for his team. It's a 1-1 score in the finals now, and the series has just gotten way more interesting. Was a good game from everybody involved, just like it was promised to us. And congrats to Team Obi. Great reinforcements here on multiple occasions from Obi himself, actually, in the south, to not die here. That would have been a very interesting game had they gotten the return kill off there. It just wasn't meant to be, I guess, but just barely with the last remaining units he had, he was able to hold on. In Thebes as well, it looks like he almost dropped there, but not quite enough for Elk to force that kill, unfortunately. So we move on to game 3, which is probably going to be played on Friday, so a few days of break here for everybody, the viewers and the players. Until then, guys, keep your eyes posted for updates on the tourney in Discord and Steam chats. I'll announce any scheduling changes or whatever there. But do expect Game 3 to happen on Friday. This series is very much still everyone's game, so can't really make any solid predictions here. And I'm not even gonna attempt to be frank with y'all. All right, thanks for joining me once again. Congrats to Obi's team for equalizing the series. And I hope y'all will join me on Friday when we'll kick off Game 3 of the finals. Next weekend we're gonna have it conclude. But until then, stay posted, everybody. Good night, good day. See you all around.